I do recall a time when we used to break for the holidays and take some rest. Offices had closed down and factories had stopped running, and even shops would be closed for longer than a couple of hours, just one day. And we go from Christmas straight into sales for the new year. It's like the season tells us to stop, but it never gives us a break. That long winter that we used to experience, the downtime and the refreshing of the soul, just never seems to happen anymore. Hello, and welcome to Model Philosophy. This is our second essay in the festive series of 2025. This essay is titled The Ethics of the Long Winter. Part 1. Promised Rest, Permanent Motion. The holiday season comes and goes, though the promises of time off or the chance to take a break never really show up. The calendar is full of things to do, carols play on repeat, and people talk about winding down and taking break like holy chants shared between offices and chat groups. Lights in the warehouses stay on, the system keeps moving, and the inbox remains full. We go through December with the feeling that the year is about to come to an end, but the promise of the long winter has faded into the words we used to talk about, a story we tell over days that is starting to look like any other. Not too long ago, the world seemed to stop in late December. Factories closed their doors for weeks, offices emptied, public transport ran on skeleton schedules, stores closed for days at a time, and the days between one year and the next felt strange. People just weren't available. But that is now a memory. Family time has become something that needs to be planned ahead and protected from notifications and the urge to just stay across things. In other words, the long winter has been emptied out from the inside, leaving its outer shell of symbols intact, while the inside is used for more work. So let us take a moment to think about a season that talks about rest, but makes it harder and harder to find. A time when people are less interested in blaming others for not being able to switch off and more interested in figuring out what the world looks like that makes it seem like a moral wrong, a professional risk, or an impossible luxury. Part 2. The Holiday That Never Arrives. Camus begins. A human being who longs for rest, clarity, an answer, and a world that does not answer back. In the gap between rest and life is the absurd, the ache between a mind that wants the horizon to end and a landscape that refuses to join together. Camus doesn't suggest that we close the gap, only that we see it without decoration. A life, he says, is spent between the desire for meaning and the silence of the universe. The question is what we do once we realize the universe will not speak. It's a strangely quiet position, neither hope nor despair, a kind of honesty about how much of the story we've been telling ourselves all along. Let us look at December in that light. December is a month that holds the promise of ending, yet it behaves like any other month. At some point towards the end of the year, we think things will slowly move towards a pause. A last meeting, one final email, and the office will be empty for days. It's not to be. We expect there to be a lever in the machine that will be thrown and the gears will stop. Yet the long winter continues. The stores don't close. They go straight from carols to the Boxing Day sale. The warehouses never sleep. they just change their signs from order now for Christmas to start the year off right. The screens don't go dark. Instead of video calls, they're live chats, status updates, year-end summaries, and streaming marathons. The phrase going offline for the holidays has lost its meaning. An out-of-office reply sends out urgent message to someone else who's still available. For many people, the holiday is not a break from the work, but a change in shifts, hours, and uniforms. Camus writes about how we hold on to stories even after we know they are not true. This is because we prefer to believe the world will change for us. We live as if our hard work will pay off and the holiday will come. But the break is pushed back, shortened, moved, or withheld. And we still hang the lights. We talk about this time of year as if the tree going up is going to change the way that time feels. In his most famous picture, a man pushes a rock up a hill, knowing it will roll back down, and that there's no end in point where the work will be done. Camus will not look away from that repetition. He wants us to pause and see it how it is. December is a softer, more homely version of that same pattern. We tell ourselves that this time of year will be different. Things will be ready to go early. The time around the table will be free of interruptions, and the distance between us and the people we love will be closer this year. But it doesn't really happen like that. After all the pushing, the rock rolls back down the hill. Camus does not provide a method to enhance the world's benevolence. He does not want to be comforted all that easily. Instead, he says, in the moment after the illusion breaks, when someone finally realizes that the universe does not care and there's no hidden logic that will save them from the truth. Part 3. The Season Inside the Machine. Byung-Chul Han in the Burnout Society writes about tiredness that comes from not being able to stop wanting and not being able to say no to yourself. The external "you must" of disciplinary society has slipped into an internal "I can" and "I want to." The positivity drives us to exploit ourselves until we burn out. As we approach the festive time of year, we take a look at how we live inside this distilled version of tiredness. December is a time for rest and reunion, but for most people it brings a complicated set of expectations. Plan the gatherings, deal with the family drama, pick the right gifts, go to the right places. The days before the holiday are full of lists and plans. The days of the holiday are full of love and thanks, and the days after are full of fear that it didn't meet expectations. Han describes rituals as to time what a home is to space. They render time habitable. Rooms in the day that organize time and make it meaningful. The time of the festival for him is time standing still, time that does not run out. In that sense, a ritual is a structured break in time that lets us step out of the flow of work and into a shared moment. And in that sense, we might say a festival is a time when nothing has been optimized or improved, with the point being just being together. As we enter the festive season, there's a kind of sense that this has been turned into a captive festival. This is evident in the endless sales, the emotional connection to every advertisement, and the portrayal of the perfect family as the ultimate standard. The festival season, once a time that was around to be a shared experience, is now a stage for everyone to show their greatness and happiness. To pull into this societal expectation is shaped by 1,000 soft imperatives: the fear of missing out on a deal, the hope of learning how everyone else is doing it, and the worry that their own quiet, imperfect celebration might not be enough. Scrolling through Christmas posts and sales catalogues is not only about purchasing item, it also serves as a means to monitor your own performance and compare it to perceived norms. The cruel side to this bright arrangement is that the failure feels personal when the pressure is held within. If the season leaves us empty or stressed, we cannot blame anyone else or point to a clear oppressor. It's easy to think that we did not plan well, did not set clear boundaries, or did not show enough gratitude. For this experience to become real again, for us to turn back to the ritual that makes us whole, the symbols don't have to change. The tree with its decorations can stay. The carols keep playing. In fact, we can continue to buy gifts and embrace the season. To escape the captive season, we would change the mode in which we embrace the rituals, rather than changing the symbols. The action might remain the same on the outside, but on the inside, if we do it with consideration, with shared approach, the body will feel the difference. Our intention in that sense shapes the way we experience the season. Part 4. The hands behind our holiday. In tribes and small villages, it was not a luxury to mark a season, get together around a fire, and trade gifts or food. These were ways to build trust, hierarchy, and a sense of belonging in a world where winter really could kill you. The festivals and rituals born of society were a way for us to exist together, to forge bonds, and to show that we belong to each other. But we can see the changes over the years as our rituals have brought us under the thumb of the nameless operatives. The machines built around making money have been tied to the things that connect us together. Subversively and silently, the economic systems have appropriated our rituals and festivals, building machines around them. A market driven by growth and competition cannot afford to have dead zones during the year. The winter feast turns into the holiday season, a quarter with its own KPIs. The fear of being left out becomes a fear of missing out on a bargain, a trend, or the perfect family moment. There is no single person hollowing out our rituals, just 1,000 decisions that extend trading hours, tying bonuses to Q4 numbers, and designing platforms that reward our real-time updates. Shareholders who expect growth, algorithms that are set up to maximize engagement, managers who are judged on goals they did not set. They all work together to alter the current below the surface, to make the season seem festive, but to make us keep working to feed the machine, making sure that nothing really rests. The enemy is not one bad person we can find to get rid of. It is a set of plans that take advantage of our need to belong and our fear of being the wrong kind of person on the edge of the firelight. If there's any peace to be found in saying this, it's that the holiday stress is not a personal failure. You feel tired, numb, or quietly angry at the season, it stops being a personal flaw and starts to seem like a normal reaction. It doesn't fix the structure and it doesn't make December innocent. But it can allow us to stop, to focus on the rituals, seek some kind of peace inside of us, despite the chaos going on around us. Part 5. Stopping in a season that won't. We stand in the snow of a long winter, a season where the promise of rest is everywhere, but the structure and systems we have around us no longer allow us to take a break. It does create a longing for the older times, where peace seemed to be given more freely, but it does not help us in the coming month of chaos and the never-ending engagements. Camus leaves us in front of a hill that will not go away, and Han takes us through a month that has been turned inside out, so that even our rest is given in the service of the machine. The urge is to cross our arms and to say that nothing can be done. The holiday will never really come, the festival's over, the old winter is gone. But the truth is that we will still be here when December comes around again, still buying food, putting up lights, and doing all of the rituals we've done before. Rituals are repeated gestures of small actions that become important the more they are done, not the more they are seen. And while we cannot stop the festive machinations turning, we can still find time for those small things to pull us out of the machine for a little while, to pause and look at the tree while not taking a photo, to find time to sit with family and friends. Not all rituals need to be accomplishments outside of ourselves. a hidden ritual is just as important for the soul. This time of year can feel as if the hill is endless, and the new year is all but the rock rolling down to the bottom again. Trying to pull back little times of meaning, finding hidden rituals, or accomplishing tasks that are not outside of ourselves is not an effort to break the machine. It's not a way to pretend that the hill doesn't exist. It's understanding that the hill is not holy, and that even though the rock is trying to fall back down again, we're able to push it just a little further. This reframing brings a kind of peace, a sense of control, but it doesn't solve the ongoing issue that the holiday season has started to erode us from the inside, continuing a year that stretches us thin as the 12 months finally wanes. Once we realize that our inability to relax during it is not a personal flaw but a sign of the season's capture, we can start to look for places where we might be able to sneak back in to find that pause and to replenish our souls. In that case, stop pushing the rock up the endless hill does not mean giving up on the hill or pretending it was never there. It means knowing that the hill is not holy, that by understanding what lies in the absurd gap is something that we can see and maybe build back some rituals that speak back into our souls. None of these changes will make the holiday feel real, like the stories we heard as kids, but in these changes there may be room for something like the old winter to come back. It will not be a season that fixes anything, but it will be a short, normal stretch of days when we remember that we were not made to just work and perform. This is the second essay in our festive season for 2025, called The Ethics of the Long Winter. This is Model Philosophy. My name is James. Thank you for being here. Why am I struggling with that word? Fun words say not good structure sense make. Tell you what, it's all just rambling, isn't it?